when we used to? Do you even know how the theme song goes? Could you
Yeah.
hum it now?
Da-na-na.
Are we
I think
still-
it's in the intro, like just a part of it.
Oh yeah, right.
Fair
yeah.
use.
Whenever we came back, I would still be going. "Da-na."
Yeah, dancing.
I'll have to get the new version down. All right, folks, we're back. You knew we couldn't go too long without giving our opinions on stuff.
They matter.
They do matter. They do matter. And they matter in particular to our wonderful campus community.
Yeah, so today we are going to talk about the 48-hour Film Fest, promote that. It's coming up quickly. And then we'll talk a little bit about Captain America Brave New World and the Oscars, and you might have a couple recommendations for folks.
Got a couple of recs. Stay
That's
tuned.
the dossier for today.
That's right. That's right.
All right, so 48-hour Film Festival. It's been going on for some time here at the college, and it is coming up in a week. Kickoff meeting, when is that?
Kickoff meeting, folks. If you want to participate, and by the way, the deal is you make a short film in a 48-hour time period, and that time period starts March 14th. So March 14th, Friday, and it is we need somebody from your team if you're going to participate. Doesn't have to be the whole team, but somebody needs to show up on March 14th. At 5 o'clock, and it's in Fine Arts 202.
Yeah, we have a slide that has all that.
Oh,
info.
cool.
We got it up.
Got
so-
it, yeah.
And you can, it's fun, of course, but you can actually win a little bit of cash, right?
A little bit. And it is free to enter, and when I say that, have you ever participated in the St. Louis Film Festival?
I have not.
Okay.
I did one in ours one year. I think
Right.
the first year we did
That's
one.
right.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good one, too.
Yeah.
I like to kind of brag on us on this because, folks, if you enter the St. Louis contest, my recollection anyway was that you got no money. There's no chance of winning any money. I think the best thing you could win was like you had the best one, and so they would submit it in a larger competition of short films, and then maybe whoever won that, I think, would be at Sundance or something. I don't know, but no cash. And my recollection, I never paid this, but I think I heard that it was cost $100 to enter that contest. Well, for ours, no entry fee, and first place gets $300, second place gets $200, third place gets $100. So
Nice.
yeah,
And it's a lot of fun, too.
it is pretty fun.
Now, the way this works, from my understanding, obviously every film's a little different, but there are a few required elements that you have to have in the film in order to qualify for those prizes, right?
Yeah. So, folks, you might have some footage sitting around at home. We can't let you turn that in as a short film. I mean, maybe you could work it in somehow, but here's the deal. To try to make sure that people are actually filming this, or the bulk of it, within the 48-hour time period, we have several required elements. One, we create a theme that we want you to sort of follow through somehow. We have a required type of character, one required prop, could be something just basic like a bat or something like that. And then the final thing we have is a line of dialogue, and we want that particular line of dialogue, word for word, to be said somewhere during the film. And by the way, these films are 7 minutes max. That's what we mean by short film. Sometimes short film means 40 minutes or whatever, but
Yeah.
for us it's cut off as 7 minutes.
And that's why you need someone at that kickoff meeting, because you'll reveal all of those required elements at that meeting.
Exactly. That's we at the kickoff meeting we say, and that's, I think, again, I'm 9. We have the display, but we meet at 5, but we take at least a half hour to kind of go over do's and don'ts or whatnot, and then to announce the required elements. So I'm pretty sure that the deadline is 6 p.m. That's Sunday, March 16th.
16th,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So you'll go to the meeting, then you're off to work. You gotta
work.
write.
Yeah.
You gotta get your actors together. They gotta rehearse a little bit, but don't have too much time for that. You shoot,
Right.
you edit, and you get it in by Sunday,
Yeah.
the 16th at 6 o'clock. And
Yeah.
then everyone will get to see it.
Yes, they will. And again, yeah. If you see this and you're interested, just let me say, like, start prepping immediately. Try to get a crew together. Maybe get some backup here and there in case somebody drops out. Maybe scout locations, whatnot. But yeah, get started. So On April 25th, we will in fact have a public screening of all the movies that are submitted, whether you want or not. And it's in the Little Theater in Arts and Sciences 1. Our fine arts theater is still being worked on, renovated, and all that kind of stuff, and will not be ready by April 25th. So it is a kind of a cool thing, even though it's not quite as big of screen as what you would see in the Fine Arts Theater. Still, little theater, it's decent size, and it's just fun for people to show up and see their movies. And of course, then we announce at that screening, I think after we screen all the movies, we announce who won first, second, and third. And yeah.
Yeah, that's room 119 in AS1. And
Yes,
that
thank
actually
you.
is a really good video. It's like a lecture board, but it's a video board.
Yeah.
It looks good.
Good
so
sound.
yeah.
And yeah.
Comfortable
so-
chairs.
Right.
I like that room.
It was a good. I was a little. I teach film appreciation in there, and I was a little. First, I was like, "This is like I'm teaching on the set of 2001: A Space Odyssey," but there a lot of the. I don't know, the kind of decor these days is sort of this futuristic kind of slight look. And yeah, ultimately I got used. Oh, it did have a glitch initially. It would, like, in dark scenes, there would be this little green, like, fireflies throughout this, like, some glitch in the board.
Yeah.
And I had to repeatedly say, hey, this is messed up. But they got it fixed, so it's works great now. Dumb digression, you can cut that out.
No, we're not doing any editing. It's staying in.
No, that's, we're going live.
Yeah, so get a team together next Friday. Have one member go to the meeting. Get into the 48-hour film festival. And if you have any questions, we have his contact info on the screen. Bob Sullivan, one of our art teachers, his email is there. His phone number is there. So if you have any more questions, get a hold of Bob, and he will answer them for you to the best of his ability.
Bob is great. The contest had died briefly, and Bob's like, we got to resurrect it. I guess it was 2 years ago now, so... and this will be the 13th year of our, we've done this.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, well, that's cool. And Captain America: Brave New World, we saw that the day it came out, or maybe the day after.
Right. Well, yeah, because they have Thursday night
Right,
screenings.
which, yeah, I'm
Did
too
we
old
see it
for
on a
this.
Friday or Saturday?
No, it was Saturday, so maybe
Okay.
2 days. But anyway, so what do you think? Give me your
give-
review.
To me, it's a solid movie. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I'm a little when there was all these rumors of how much reshoots they did, how much money they spent on it, how they delayed it endlessly or whatnot. And there were some people saying, oh, they could see that in the final product, that it was all this disorganized mess, the plot didn't make any sense. Look, we know from the guy we mentioned last time, maybe we'll mention every time, was it Ryan George is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. We know if you ever watch his coverage of any comic book movie or any, like, almost any action movie, regular movie in general, he will find flaws in their plots, right? There's some kind of movie logic that defies normal, everyday stuff. But, I mean, we got people with superpowers, so who cares? So I feel like there wasn't anything more illogical in this movie than I've seen in previous Marvel movies. I will say they spoiled the Red Hulk thing.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
I mean,
But they want to sell tickets, so
and
if
they
you see them
and
in the previews, and that probably more people are going to go see it. So,
But it's like Terminator 2. If somehow you could have gone into these movies with the neuralizer from Men in Black, and forgotten everything about it, it would have been like mind-blowing watching Terminator 2 to suddenly see that Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, is a good guy in this one. They totally filmed the movie that way. And with Red Hulk, obviously, we could have been totally surprised. And, oh my God, look at it. But whatever, you're right. If you blow $400 million on a movie, folks, you're gonna show Red Hulk in the trailer. That's
I would have liked, and I think too, actually, the story behind that, at least what I read, was that with the reshoots and the delays and the strike may have even played a role. Like they had some deal with, like, was it McDonald's or Burger King where they had a Red Hulk toy, and the contract said the toy has to be released at this time, so it's out there. So that was one reason maybe also that snowballed into them saying, hey, let's just put him in the trailer because people are getting the Red Hulk toy with their Happy Meal.
Note to
or whatever
self,
the case is.
go to McDonald's and see if they still got the Red Hulk toy. I want that toy. Oh, man. So, yeah, I thought it was solid. It was, I guess the one thing I could say is that it wasn't so good that I wanted to see it a second time. And that's sometimes a barometer for me. Like all Star Wars movies, almost always see him a second time, maybe a third time. When it came to the Rise of Skywalker, I was like, once is going to do it for this one. So I guess I'm saying here, like, I would love to be able to just go back in. Maybe I'll sneak into a theater sometime and only watch the Red Hulk part, because I want to see that again, but I don't want to sit through a whole another 2 hours just to get to that awesomeness.
Right.
But,
I enjoyed it too. I think with the reshoots, I did notice, it wasn't a big deal, but I did notice a few things to me that were a little off. For instance, the character Ruth, who, and again, this might be a spoiler if you haven't seen it. Spoiler alert! So,
You've had your chance.
But again, I guess originally she was an Israeli superhero from the comics. Her name's escaping me, and that obviously due to what's been going on in the world for years now, that was controversial. So they kind of rewrote that into her being a Black Widow. And just one small detail I noticed is there was a scene later in the movie where she's wearing, essentially it looks like a superhero costume, and I'm like, why is she wearing that? She's like a basically a Secret Service type of agent. So that's something that caught my eye. Not a big deal, but I just thought, I was like, obviously they had a lot more of her and revealing her backstory that got cut out. And then just in the larger picture of things, after this we had Thunderbolts, which I don't think is really going to set up Avengers, Doomsday, or Secret Wars. Maybe there might be a little something
probably a
in
little
there.
teaser at the end.
Fantastic Four probably will, but and this is something other people have been talking about, is what made the first Avengers run so successful is that they had all of these characters being, developed over years and years in their own movies. And I guess some of them might be back in other roles, but with some of the characters on the new team that are also in like Disney Plus shows that you can't even guarantee people have seen, like She-Hulk or Shang-Chi, are people really going to be invested in those characters? So to me, with Captain America, it would have been cool if you could still call it a Captain America movie, but maybe they could have had him getting the Avengers team together in the movie instead of them just referencing, oh, you need to get a new team together. Because when are they going to do that? In Doomsday, I guess?
I would think that's, I mean, so in case you don't vote, the President of the United States, played by Harrison Ford, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, played by two other actors, one of them deceased. Anyway, he talks to Sam Wilson, Captain America, and says, "Guess what, dude? We got to patch up our differences because you need to reform the Avengers like now." And then a bunch of stuff happens that basically, like, let's put that on hold. Let's put a pin in that. But they clearly are teasing the idea that, I mean, don't worry, folks, Avengers are coming back. And
well, like you and I watch most of the stuff. I watch all of it, so I've seen everything. So in Doomsday, if they're all just kind of there, it's kind of, something that comes together really quickly, I'd be okay with that. I don't know if the general fan base would, but like in Doomsday, I want to see Doctor Doom right off the bat and stuff happening, not, hey, I need you to be in my team. Kind of like Gruber, right?
Oh,
like
man.
going through, or Rick and Morty, let's put a team together. I'm in.
Yeah, you're right.
That's just my thing. But.
Yeah. Well, they did, hopefully they'll learn from how they did it the first time and just say, okay, we're getting them together, like, right now, let's go, and not spend a whole ton of time.
We'll see. I'm sure they'll find a good way to do it. It's the Russo brothers, so.
But I say, solid movie, old Captain America 4. And while we're at it, I got a couple of recs.
Okay.
Do we want to cover that now? Or
go for it. Go for it.
Well, there's 2 horror movies that are still currently in theaters, folks. But these days, might be gone soon. Hard Eyes, and that's both horror movies. Both have a certain comedic element to them. So, Hard Eyes is. You ever watch rom-coms, Matt?
Not really. I've seen one or two, but it's probably not my go-to.
You ever been in a Turkish prison?
I have. 3 years.
Anyway, so I watched rom-coms back when they kind of had their heyday, or more maybe like romantic dramedies, like My Best Friend's Wedding. But this one really plays on like rom-com tropes, and so for part of the movie, you're actually watching a little bit of a rom-com, and then comes the stabby, and then it's a slasher flick. And the rom-com stuff continues throughout. But if you like a horror movie that has a little bit of like parody or whatever element to it, kind of in the Scream mode, I would recommend Hard Eyes.
And some stabby.
Some stabby.
Like that.
You gotta.
I
want to blow one scene that this is not anything to do with the plot or whatever. Like, or major plot. But so there's one part where the killer is he tracks down. He's pursuing this couple that's not even really a couple. He's thinking they're a couple, and anyway. So he runs them down, and he tracks them down to a drive-in. There's still drive-ins, folks. I guess they still exist, but this is like a packed drive-in. Everybody's there to see some old His Gal Friday or something. And so this killer is somebody who the people know about in the news. It's like Ghostface, right? So a guy just walking around with the mask or whatever doesn't automatically make you freak out, because that people sell those masks and whatever. So there's a guy he's walking around with his Hard Eyes mask on. It's a pretty distinctive, cool mask, and so nobody's saying anything. But then I think he does something. He causes a commotion, and some guy comes up to him and is like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he just goes and he keeps moving, and I was like, oh my god, I have never seen a kill like that in a movie. So yeah, I recommend that pretty much. And then got one other rec. You ever read Stephen King, Matt?
A few books, yeah. I read The Stand, and that's the main one that comes
there
to
you
mind,
go.
but sure.
Have you read the short stories? Did you read the short stories?
That I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, he is really good at short stories, and he wrote a short story a long time ago called The Monkey, folks, and this has been adapted into a film by a guy I know you know about, Osgood Perkins, fresh off his success with the Nicolas Cage movie that we saw together.
Longlegs?
Longlegs, there you go. I forgot that. It's based on that title. Yeah, so I would say, I'd say these are about in the same level of my appreciation. Again, probably another 4-star type movie. And although I might have given Longlegs, what'd you give that one? I might have gone 3.5 on that.
I'd go 4.
Okay.
I enjoyed, like I said, 2/3 of it, but
I think if I saw it again, it'd be a solid 4. So yeah, this one just has a little bit more of a sense of humor to it. If you have ever seen a Final Destination movie, then this is basically the same thing. There's this demented, psychotic, possessed, or whatever toy monkey, and if it's got a little crank thing in the back. If you wind it up, it'll do this thing where it's like, so what is it like? It's a drummer thing, and that they wanted to do the monkey clapping. But apparently Disney now owns that because of Toy Story. so the monkey's like, he plays on his drums, and when he's done, then somebody's going to die. And they're going to die in a pretty horrible way. And these two brothers, little kids, discover this, and then they try to, after they see how they've killed a couple people or whatever, they're like, we got to throw this thing down a well. And then cut to something like, 20 years later, whatever, 15. And then we see the monkey make a little return into killing people, and it's like, how did he get from the bottom of that well again? And they do say at one point they think the monkey can teleport. So anyway, if you just want a good, you want to see somebody die about every 10 minutes in a movie in a horrific way, in a sometimes comedic way, then I do recommend The Monkey. Probably not for you if you're not into the gore and the splatter and that kind of stuff, but so those are our 2 recs. What about those Oscars, though?
I don't know. You noticed our
oh my God!
Our beautiful Oscar here on the table.
The award that we definitely
don't get a tight shot on it.
We definitely won this award.
We did. 48-hour film fest.
Exactly.
I'll leave that up to you. Did any of your recommendations?
No.
Or your predictions pay off?
I was completely wrong. I said my pick to win was Emilia Perez. Didn't win. I said if that doesn't win, then The Brutalist is going to win Best Picture. Didn't win. And I would have thought, you didn't watch the Golden Globes, did you? Okay.
I'm not a big award show guy.
Golden Globes, I gotta say, The Substance is like an really interesting horror movie, but it's got like body horror out the wazoo, and it also just like gets really gross in the last 20 minutes, half hour. So I thought it was artistically very interesting, but I ultimately didn't think it was like a great movie. But a lot of people do think it's great, and Demi Moore was definitely great in that movie. You see sometimes a movie you're like, actress is great, movies eh. And she gave such an impassioned speech at the Golden Globes, and it was so beautiful, and so it just seemed like she was definitely going to win. So the one big shocker of the Oscars was that Mikey Madison won for Anora. You didn't see that, did you? Yeah. Folks, I'm going to say it. All these brutalists, I didn't finish Amelia Perez, that's rough, and Anora, overrated in my personal, if you take my word for anything, you can pass. I'm Still Here, also nominated for Best Picture. Please don't see it. The Girl with the Needle, nominated for Best Foreign Film. Do not watch that movie. So those are my anti-recs for the week. As far as the Oscars goes, I assume you're familiar with the work of Mr. Conan O'Brien.
I love him. Yeah, used to watch him way back.
Yeah.
Way back when he was on NBC still.
Yeah.
NBC. When he was after the Tonight Show. Show.
There was Late Night with Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, that was one of the best.
That was his heyday, and frankly, probably never got any better than that. But I would say it's possibly true for David Letterman too. Like, he did his best work when it was the late show with David Letterman, or Late Night with David Letterman. Whatever. When he moved into when you get into that 10:30 slot, you just got to be a little bit more mainstream and whatnot. So. Leno, same way. Leno was just the most hilarious guest ever on Letterman's show, but when he had his own show, it just was like, woo, not even close. I mean, still funny, but not even close. So I thought Conan killed it. I laughed out loud. I howled at some of his jokes, and of course, there's always a couple groaners in there where you go, how did this make it to the final draft stage of joke making? He had a line that probably won't make anybody laugh, me telling you now, but some guy won from some obscure country, and I think I'm getting it confused with the place that Doctor Doom rules.
Latvia?
Yeah. So there's some other L country, like Latvia, or whatever. Yeah.
Yep.
And they won for the first time ever. And then Conan goes, so you know what this means? Your move, Estonia. And then he did a callback to that joke. He said, this later some guy wins for Wicked, and it was best, I don't know, makeup or score or something. He's like, this is the first time a black man has ever won best, I think it was decoration, makeup. And he goes, so you know what that means? Your move, Estonia. And of course he bombed that time. First time he got a couple of chuckles, and so he's like, come on, folks.
Well, maybe you're delivering it better, because I laughed.
So yeah, I thought he had some great jokes. There were some great jokes about Bob Dylan. And again, of all the nominees for Best Pick, I recommend the most Complete Unknown. I think it was the best movie of 2024 by a long shot. Other contenders, I might have mentioned Strange Darling, and I won't even mention the third one, you've never heard of it, but yeah, go see Strange Darling or rent it or whatever. But yeah, so the first joke from Conan was, it's a biopic about Bob Dylan. Bob wanted to be here tonight, but not that badly. And then later, he had all these firemen out there. They did a lot of recognition because of the LA fires. They did tributes or whatever you call it. And then they had all these firefighters out there. And he's like, these guys are heroes, so I'm going to let them tell a couple jokes that I couldn't tell myself. But you can't judge them. They're heroes, so don't even. So this one guy gets so he goes, Timothy Chalamet, in preparing for A Complete Unknown, Timothy Chalamet got so good at singing that he almost lost the job. Get it? Because Dylan sucks at singing.
No,
I think Dylan sounds great.
It took me a second, but he's not the best vocalist, but he's a great songwriter.
That's the rap, but I like his vocals just fine. So
I guess it's an acquired taste.
Yeah. So overall, I would say it was a pretty good show. I will say this: best way to watch the Oscars is have a DVR still. Have a recording of it. Wait till like an hour or two of the show has started to air. Then you start, and you can fast forward through all the commercials, and you can honestly fast forward through a lot of the speeches too, because they do go on. And the one thing I'll close on this is Adrian Brody gave a record long length for a speech. Guess how long it took for him to get through his speech? You probably won't, but
8 minutes.
Not bad. 6 minutes.
Okay.
6 minutes is the longest speech ever, and Adrian Brody has that record. And, dude, you should have seen this. I mean, it was just like first of all, he takes forever to get up there. So you're eating up a bunch of time. You know, you're thinking people are doing. You got to get up there, folks, fast. And then they start playing music after he's been talking for like 2 full minutes or whatever. They start playing the music, and he's like, "Guys, no, we're not doing the music. Shut that off." I'm paraphrasing, but this is the gist. And then he's like, "This isn't my first rodeo." And then he kept saying, "I'll be brief, I won't be egregious," and it just kept going and going. And if he had said really brilliant stuff for 6 minutes, I would have been like, heck yeah, let him talk forever. But it was just babbling at a certain point. So thumbs down for both, really, for The Brutalist and for your acting in The Brutalist, and then for your speech. But I will say I get why people, at least, I did think his acting was the thing to watch about that movie. One last, sorry, this is the very last thing. Even though Anora, to me, is not a great movie, it's not a horrible movie. You might like it, folks. It's a mix of comedy and a little bit of romance, sort of, involving a stripper and a Russian dude, oligarch's kid. So it's got some interesting elements. I didn't think it was near, like, the best picture of the year, but I just thought Sean Baker, the director of that movie, he got up there 3 different times to give speeches, and I thought he was compelling each time. He didn't drone on or anything. And also, he did read a mini essay on the value of going to theaters, encouraging parents to take their kids to theaters, trying to keep theaters alive. I know we said this last time. We probably won't say it every show, but I really hope, folks, if you can find the time and the cash and whatever, that you can see a movie or 2 in the theater, and be like my dad. At least see one in the theater. He sees like 1 movie in the theater a year, but maybe 1 a month. Who knows? So that's my Oscar wrap up and
Rant, I would call it.
rant, little just
Good stuff.
Shots fired at
Good
Adrian
stuff.
Brody. I will say that for that guy, he was in a movie called Asteroid City last year. And I was like weeping at his performance, and he was only in like 15 minutes of that movie. So he's a great actor, but dude, you can't just go on forever. I just can't. So, all right.
Like you just did.
I know, yeah.
We gotta cut it short.
Was that more than 6 minutes?
I think a couple of our crew members here need to leave. So.
Yeah, we gotta get going.
But enter that 48-hour film fest. That's why we did this
that.
show. Was that? And
remember to do that, and always remember, folks, to
keep poppin', Colonel.